So are you happy to see that Notre Dame doesn't look so good on offense this year?
They're really good, Wags.
What
They're,
are you in?
they're they are really really good at every doggone position. They're incredibly well coached. Um, they've just Coach Freeman, Coach Denbrock, the whole crew over there. They've done an amazing job, and you see the growth of this program year in and year out every time we play 'em.
Obviously, you had some difficulty stopping the Hawkins kid from North Texas and gave up some rushing yardage. This crowd runs the ball very well with two tremendous tailbacks in Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. You've seen them before, you know them well. What can you say about the critical need to somehow be able to contain the run here?
Yeah, I mean we've got to be able to stop the run. We've got to be able to eliminate explosive plays in the passing game. We got to get off the field on third down, find a way to take the ball away. This is a tremendous matchup for us, and we've got to play really really physical, and we got to play our A game. Absolutely have to. Those two tailbacks are really good players, as good as I've seen in college football. And Obviously the offensive line, I mean, is magnificent. The tight ends, quarterbacks play at a really high level. The receivers are explosive and vary in sizes too, which makes it challenging. They're a complete offensive football team.
What do you see out of the young quarterback? He's emerged and is doing a pretty good job for a guy that's only a freshman.
I mean, I'm shocked he's a freshman watching him on tape, Wags. I mean, he really commands the offense exceptionally well, is able to get them in and out of plays. It's calm, cool, collected back there. He just looks like he's in complete control of what they're doing offensively. He distributes the ball based on coverage where he thinks the ball needs to go, and he's an extremely accurate passer with a strong arm. He's got good feet, can extend plays in the scramble game, obviously pull the ball in the read game. He's obviously he's the grandson of the great Lloyd Carr. So he's a football guy. But yeah, I was shocked when saw that he was just a freshman, because he certainly plays like a guy that's got a ton of experience. Very impressive.
Let's go to Tim Nolan.
PJ, another double-digit tackle game for Giuseppe Sessi, including the 7 solo tackles that he recorded, led the team. What have you seen from just his continued growth as he's filling, especially in the run game?
Yeah, I mean, Sessi's a guy that, since really last season, Tim's just gotten better and better. I think Coach Lewis has done a magnificent job with him, helping him improve and understanding, the entire scheme, what we're trying to do, how we're trying to do it. I think the guys, as well as the coaching staff, have a ton of trust in him and really believe in his abilities and how capable he is to be an exceptional player for us. But he goes out there and works really, really hard, and he gets better every time he goes out there, Tim.
How do you create more third and medium and third and long situations? Seems like that was part of the issue against North Texas, where they get the 3rd and 2 or the 3rd and 1, and it kind of magnify those third down completion numbers.
Yeah, obviously it all starts on first down. We were not very efficient on first down. That was not a good deal for us, and that puts you in some challenging down and distances on third. When they're able to stay on track and able to stay on schedule. When we're able to get off the field, we're able to knock the offense off track, or that makes things a little bit easier for us. They're still really challenging. Don't get me wrong. We're playing a lot of really good offenses. But when they're able to stay on schedule and they have their whole playbook, their whole call sheet available, it makes things challenging. So we've got to it starts with us winning first down. And that was really the message pretty quickly into the game on Saturday, and it's always been the message around here is we got to do a better job winning first down, putting ourselves in advantageous situations on second and third down to get off the field.
Talking to Landon after that North Texas game, he said how important it was to flush it, and he seemed very confident his teammates would. What have you seen for the defense these past 2 days that also gives you an inkling that these guys are ready to roll?
That's Tim, that's who we are. Obviously we were all um, um, surprised we didn't play to our level, to our ability on Saturday. But I mean, we came right back out on Monday, had an excellent practice, had a wonderful practice again yesterday, and seeing guys just continuing to work, bouncing their step, working to improve. They're just an absolute joy to be around. As coaches, you want to see guys go out there and as you said, flush it. But I mean, there's no difference with the way this group works. Obviously things didn't go the way that we wanted to them versus North Texas. And, that's the sign of a true competitor, man, is you bounce back and you get back to work. And that's what we got is a bunch of guys that compete.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, you mentioned a little bit earlier the tight ends in the offense for Notre Dame. What makes them so effective in this scheme? It seems each year that they find a person to put into that spot that's so effective.
Well, the scheme is, I mean, it's really good. I mean, they've got a tremendous offensive scheme, but they've got monsters at tight end. I mean, they roll guys out there, and they're just year in and year out. They're huge. They run well. They catch the football. I'm just super impressed with this batch of them. I don't know where all these people come from that look like this. I never really see them throughout the course of recruiting, but I mean, they've got guys, Scott, that are great inline blockers. They're great move blockers. They can catch the ball intermediate routes and turn them into explosive plays. They can catch the ball down the field. I mean, Eli Raridan's an exceptional player, and he's a really tough matchup for us. But year in and year out, they do a great job developing and attracting top talent.
What does it mean for you professionally to have this challenge each year, to have the opportunity to coach against a Notre Dame?
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity. I obviously when you get into this profession, you want to be in highly competitive environments. That's what you look for. And obviously this game, as well as the American Athletic Conference, the CIC games, I mean, they're all enormous football games. So this is another opportunity to go against some of the best players and coaches in the world. I mean, this is an exceptional bunch, and we realize that this is an enormous challenge and opportunity for us as well. It's exciting.
For the players that you're recruiting, is this kind of a common denominator when you go into a house and talk to a player about the opportunity, knowing that each season, if they take care of their business and practice, they'll be able to line up against Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about this all the time in recruiting, Scott. Like you part of the reason you come to the Naval Academy is obviously to play in big time college football, and that's exactly what this is. You're going to play in a big time atmosphere in South Bend, in front of a packed house. This is the first ever night game for Navy there. You're going to be on national television and have those opportunities. It's a tremendous amount of exposure for our team, for our program. And when we go into recruit guys, that's certainly something that we get a chance to talk to them and their family about is this opportunity that presents itself year in and year out. And it's a really, the whole history behind everything's really special. There's nothing but respect and admiration for their program, for their university, everything that they do. It's a really cool event, and really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks, Scott.
Wyatt Kopelman.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned how Mike Denbrock has developed this offense. He's been there for a few seasons now, so you've seen him for past couple of years. What feels different, though, about preparing this defense for Notre Dame this time around, especially with how well they've been playing during the 6-game win streak?
Yeah, I don't know if anything. Like obviously, some of the personnel has changed, not a ton, but some, and guys have a little bit different strengths than maybe the guys that they've replaced. Um, but they're just so multiple with what they do, and they're so well coached. They don't give things away formationally. They don't give things away in any form or fashion with splits, alignments, all those things. I mean, they're just really clean, well coached football team with exceptional talent, and he does a great job getting them in um, the right plays and playing hard, playing fast, playing physical, and just staying extremely efficient offensively. And they're so multiple. I mean, um, they can get big and run the football. They can get big and throw the football. They can get they don't really get small, but they can spread you out and throw the football. They can spread you out and run the ball. Like they're just so multiple with how they attack people and what they do. It's just an extremely efficient and at the same time explosive offense. I think sometimes people hear efficient and they don't think of um, the explosion plays. These guys get explosion plays because of the scheme and the personnel and being able to put their guys in a position to be successful. And it's a very well crafted offense that's extremely well coached with really good players.
Right, and a lot of the attention as it relates to the explosion plays, I think kind of naturally draws towards Love and Price on the ground. But can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from their wide receiver core? I know you just mentioned the tight ends as well.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a lot of different receivers that can make explosive plays on the football, and they get the guys the ball in a lot of different manner. I think they do an excellent job trying to figure out what the coverage is or seeing what the coverage is and getting in beaters for that particular coverage. And Carr knows where to go with the football, and he's able to get the ball to his playmakers in space, that can beat coverages. And I mean, to me, that's the sign of a really good football team. And you look at, they got guys that are 6'4", 220 pounds. They've got guys that are 5'11", 210 pounds. Like they're not all cut from the same cloth. They got 6'2", 200. 5'10", 185. And they all have different skill sets that are major challenges for us. And I think they have really, really good wide receivers, and they block in the run game. They block on the perimeter, and then when the ball comes to them, they're able to make plays on the football and present some real hard matchups.
And you've talked throughout the season about how tackling has continued to be a point of emphasis. How much of this week's preparation focuses on still being fundamentally sound against this kind of offense?
I mean, you have to be. We gotta do everything that we can to get 11 gold hats to the football and play. Like I said before, play our A game and play as well as we can possibly play. And we can't play better than we can play, but we got to play as well as we can play. And that's critical for us. And we've got to be great tacklers. We've got to get guys to the ball and team tackle and get on legs and get people on the ground by any means necessary so we can be able to line up and play that next play.
Thank you.
Critical for us, though. Thanks.
PJ, I was just curious. Did you grow up a Notre Dame fan? I know a lot of people in Cincinnati are Notre Dame fans. Outside of Ohio State, it seems like it's maybe the number 2 in the Cincinnati area. I was just curious of where you were on that.
Yeah. So initially, I was, I like to rock the boat a little bit, Strauss. I don't know if you've picked that up on me. So
I have.
So when I grew up in Toledo, like Toledo is like half Michigan and a half Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I lived there from like 18 months old to third grade. And so since half the city was Ohio State and half the city was Michigan, I was a Notre Dame fan. And then when I moved to Cincinnati, there's a lot of Ohio State and Notre Dame fans down there, and then I became a Michigan fan. So it was just sort of one of those things that I was more of an outlier and trying to rock the boat a little bit. But yeah, I remember watching those guys, like watching like Jerome Bettis and Rocket Ishmael was probably one of the first guys in college football that I was just absolutely obsessed with. I just thought he was an absolutely phenomenal football player and striking the Heisman pose, doing all that. Just a really, really, really cool deal.
I saw Tim Brown and Rod Woodson race in a 60-meter indoor track at IU when I was working track at IU. That was pretty cool too.
I'm sure they were blazing right there. That's impressive.
Wags.
I'm writing a feature about Adam Klink, and I was curious, do you remember what led you to decide to move him from inside linebacker to Raider? He seems to think that he was running a hoops drill. I guess it's you do a figure eight around two hoops set side by side, and he thought you noticed, kind of the speed, balance, and footwork, and thought, hey, maybe this guy could be an edge rusher. Do you remember that, or do you have any recollection as to what led you all? Kind of was the impetus to move him to the Raider?
Yeah, I mean, and that certainly had a lot to do with it. Wags is so during fourth quarters, one of our drills is running those hoops, and we tape fourth quarters. We come back in, we watch it, we grade it as coaches. Like we spend a lot of time going through that stuff, and we were watching that, talking about him, Coach Newberry, myself, Ricky Brown, the whole D staff, and we're like, that was pretty interesting because he had not previously gone through a ton of fourth quarters in those workouts because of the knee injuries that he's had, if that makes sense. So we were able to see some of those things from him there, and I believe we put him as an edge rusher in one of our packages as well. Like, we bring the Mike and Will down on the edge from time to time, and he was playing inside backer, and we put him down. And
he said it was the money package.
Yeah. And we put him down there, and he rushed, and we were like, oh, okay. And, he's bounced around all over the place. Like he came in as a linebacker, and we moved him to running back. Then we moved him from running back to tight end. Then we move him back to linebacker, and sometime, and you look at his strength numbers, you look at his vertical jump, you look at all the things that he does, and just the eyeball test, you're like, man, this kid is one of the best athletes on the football team. Like we got to be able to find a spot for him. So we're trying to find a spot for him. And then we see, you start to put some of that information together, and you're like, hey, maybe if we just take him from inside backer and move him to outside backer, it'll make things a little bit easier for him. Instead of seeing the game like this, you see the game like this. And he's just really done a just wonderful job there, and just keeps getting better and better week in and week out. And Coach Brown, Coach Palmer, those guys work their tails off with him. And I'm just super impressed with what he's done. He's been a difference maker for us.
Yeah, he had his most success in high school as a defensive end. He's his high school's career leader in sacks and season leader as well. So,
yeah, he was a tremendous high school football player. I mean, you watch his tape, I mean, you're like, holy cow. But I just couldn't be more proud and just excited for him. He's been through a lot, and to have, the year that he's having, it's just wonderful.
So here lately, Notre Dame's gotten after you as far as number of points and yards posted. I know you'd love to see you hold them to 20 points or less and a decent number of yards. What does Navy have to do to contain this team?
Yeah, I mean, we know we've got to play our A game. Like we have to play our A game. Like we've got to be excellent with our alignments, our assignments. our fundamentals, all 11 guys on the same page. We've got to be opportunistic when the opportunities present themselves, to get off the field. And we've got to play consistent Navy football. That's really what it comes down to. And we know, when you play these guys, it's a big challenge, and they're going to make some plays. You just got to keep getting in the huddle. You got to keep getting the call, keep getting lined up, keep playing, and that 1-0 mentality, and just keep playing football the way that we're capable of, and that'll give us the best chance that we possibly can get.
Thanks, PJ.
Thanks, Wax.
Damn, Nolan.
Coach, when you're at Georgia State, you got a chance to go to some pretty cool places as well. But where does this Notre Dame trip rack up there with? I know you went to Tuscaloosa back in 2013 and a couple other stops.
Yeah, we've when we were at Georgia State, there was Elu and I were talking about that the other day, man. We've had some really cool opportunities. We were at Alabama, Clemson, Washington, Oregon. All those places were electric. Obviously the Army Navy game here. I mean, I got chills thinking about it right now. Just everywhere that's been absolutely phenomenal. Going to Notre Dame obviously is a special deal. Being a Catholic kid from the Midwest, this is big. This is a great environment. Going to have a ton of family and friends there. They always are. When we get an opportunity to go there, obviously the crowd's electric. The campus is wonderful. My former head coach Trent Miles at Georgia State and at Indiana State, when I was on the staff there, he was the head football coach. He's on the staff at Notre Dame. The first time I ever went to South Bend for recruiting, when I was at Indiana State, he was like, "Hey man, you got to go check out Notre Dame and get up there." And he told me the lady's name that worked in the football office there, and told me to go up there and introduce myself and go see everything. So there's a ton of it's a special place. It really is. And Mike Mickens is the corners coach there. We coached together at Indiana State. He's done a tremendous job there. Gino Gaduli is a quarterbacks coach there. We played against each other twice in high school. Ricky Brown and I did. So there's a lot of connections there, and it makes it a really cool place to go and obviously compete.
And lastly, from me, earlier this week, Coach Newberry told us how he doesn't just want a pat on the back in this game. He doesn't just want to compete with Notre Dame. He wants to show that your team can knock off the Irish. What is this week like for you personally as you try and get yourself to believe you guys can go 1-0 this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's always about going 1-0, Tim. And it's always about us. It's never about anything else than being our possible best. And that's what we're constantly striving for. And obviously we play a wonderful opponent this week, but our main focus week in and week out is getting our guys as prepared as possible to be successful on Saturday and have confidence and belief and trust in themselves, their teammates, the scheme, what we're trying to get done, how we're trying to do it. It's always about us here at Navy and doing everything that we possibly can to play our A game. And week in and week out, it's exciting. Like, I love coming to work every day. I love parking on the water. I skip into work regardless of the day before or anything like that, and work to just be 1-0 today and make, like, today's Work Wednesday, and we're just striving to have the best freaking Work Wednesday practice we've ever had. And the guys joke around because I'm like, "Hey man, this is going to be the best practice of the year. Best practice of the year." And we say that every day, but that's just the mentality that we have when we go to work every day. So it's It's special. It's special working here. It's special coaching these guys. It's special being a part of just an amazing event.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, does it help you guys play fast and loose in this game because it's not an outlier that they have a game kind of like this each year with the Army-Navy game where there's so much pressure on them?
You know, I'm to be honest with you, Scott, I'm waiting for our guys to consistently play fast and loose. Like we've done it at times, and other times we haven't. And that's I'm just dying for this group to just go cut it loose and do that consistently for 4 quarters. Like when we've done that, I've been so excited, and I really think we got an opportunity to continue to improve and get better defensively. And you know, a lot of these guys, Scott, haven't played in that game. You know, to be totally honest with you, you know, we were just talking. You know, no one in the linebacker room has ever even been to South Bend before. You know, a couple guys did. You know, with their families and at some point during their lives, but that's it. Like we haven't played there. These guys haven't played against them, so there's a lot of new faces getting their first opportunity to play in this environment.
How important to Luke Pierce's game has been the emergence of Adam Clank and that knowing that you've got him there, especially in a game like this where Luke might need a breather to really take advantage of his skills, but knowing that you've got Adam there.
Yeah, I think we got 2 starters at that position that are playing at a really high level, and I think that helps. That helps both guys' games tremendously. Whether you don't have to be out on the field for long periods of time, and you're able to rotate and stay fresh. So when you know the critical moments are there, you got the stamina, you got the legs, you got the juice to be able to execute at a really high level. And you know, I think that's something that we're continuing to try to develop at a lot of different positions. But Adam playing the way that he's been playing, being able to contribute the way that he's been playing, I think that's absolutely elevated Luke's game as well. And just trying to find ways to get them both on the football field.
Thanks, Coach. Here's to having the greatest practice of the season today.
I like that. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
About 5 minutes left. Wyatt.
Coach, we saw Marcus pick up his first career sack on Saturday. When a younger player like that makes a play, how much does that energy bring to the rest of the defense, especially coming off the loss?
Oh yeah, I mean we obviously showed that on Monday when we got in there. His first career sack. It's been a ton of work for him to get back, get healthy, get to that point. And I've been really, really excited about Blaz and the way that he just has really improved throughout the last month of the football season. He's practicing at a different level than he did in the beginning of the year, and playing with more detail, and that's leading him to get more and more opportunities. And obviously, he's a dude that, like, you put him out there, man. I mean, he looks fast on tape. Like you get back in and you're watching the tape, and you're like, man, he's flying around. He's doing the right things. He studies. He prepares. He's a guy that I think brings a ton of energy to our defense, a ton of enthusiasm to our defense, and to get some production from him. I mean, I was jacked for him to get his first sack. I mean, that's a lot of hard work coming to fruition there.
With the way Notre Dame leans on the run, besides relying on Carr, as you said, a very talented true freshman to succeed in throwing the ball, how do you balance pressure and coverage concepts in your game plan?
Yeah, it's a major challenge, like I said, because they present so many matchup challenges, formational challenges, different things that they do. We know we need to be multiple. We can't just sit there and play 3-4 defense all day or anything like that. Like, we've got to be multiple with what we do to give them. To put our guys in position to be successful as best that we possibly can. But at the same time, we can't overcomplicate things where guys are out there thinking too much. So it's a delicate balance, that's for sure, Wyatt.
And then you also mentioned how much you're still dying to see your team cut it loose. This is the stage that this team has to focus on right now? As you also talk about going 1-0, what do you think your team can prove in South Bend as it relates to that on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we just, like I said before, we need to go out there and just be the best versions of ourselves. We don't need to be anything else other than that. We need to be at our best, and a few years ago, Will Harbor, who started an inside linebacker for us, this was sort of the game where up to that point, he had sort of been in a rush, and the game it started to slow down for him, and you'd like to think that we're getting to that point with some of these guys where the game's going to start slowing down and making a lot more sense for them. It's a challenge versus these guys, but just want to see guys put their eyes on their key and play our style of football.
Good luck this week.
Thanks, Wyatt. Appreciate it.
All right, we're out of time. Thanks a lot, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you all. Thank you.